Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. Disclaimer: all cases, names, people are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. All numbers used in this case pertain to the case context specifically and bears no resemblance to similar or same numbers you may have in your date of birth. So I'm going to do a quick fire episode here. If you follow South African news, whether you overseas, expats, we got a very big development happening in the country. This picture here, the gentleman who is the head of he's the commissioner, National Commissioner of Police in KZN, which is a province within South Africa, KZN, right? On Saturday, which would have been July the 5th, gives a press conference alleging that the police minister, the Minister of Police, and many others are involved with organized crime rooted in Gauteng. Now, as the news goes, the President Cyril Ramaphosa is out of the country at a BRICS summit in Brazil. He will be attending to the matter according to the press when he gets back in. But we can say we've got let's call it we've got a police commissioner accusing the Minister of Policing and involved in organized crime, allegedly, and that he has evidence to the fact. And then I was just watching a video just before recording this, and I'm recording this morning of the 8th, July the 8th, Tuesday morning. A video that I just watched now, of the full press conference that he gave, he also alleges that within the syndicate, there's already been numerous arrests made, particularly around political murders in this country, which is a hotspot in this area, KZN. But that the firearms that were recently seized were involved in a high-profile hit on a well-known musician in South Africa a couple of years ago in KZN. That the weapons seized in some of these raids are linked to all of these people that he's alleging are involved. Now, on any level, that I've been taking a while to process this, like 2 days, right? Because there's obviously a lot of rumor and speculation at the moment that there's a lot of trafficking going on. And, and in any country where there's a port city or long roads, organized crime cannot exist on their own. They need, whether fake or not, documentation to get through ports, to get through gates, get through country borders. But they can't isolate. They can't work in isolation. And the allegations and the proof that he has proves what he is saying, allegedly. Now, of course, the president is going to be flying in and having a discussion with him to see what is going on. So the purpose of this reading is to look at, do we have the presence of organized crime, and is he talking the truth? Immediately, the day of the announcement happens in this zone. So I've got the energy flow read-in as well as the actual below. So Saturday, the press conference happens in this zone here, which is this zone here. In the energy flow sequence, this 14.5 I've mentioned in previous videos now that I've done, talks about disclosure. And what do we have here? 50 outcome 5 in a criminal world, in a crime syndicate world, is 50 outcome 5. There they are there, organized crime, 50 outcome 5. Involving networks, 23-5, smaller groups, 14-5. Before the commissioner does the speech, the day before, look at all of these 4s here. All of these 4 speak about evidence, volumes of evidence, actually, 22-4 volumes. We even have a hidden, now I would say it won't be hidden. Well, we can say hidden. Let me complete my sentence, beg your pardon. On one hand, the 40 outcome 4 can speak about large volumes of paperwork. 40 outcome 4 can speak about large volumes of evidence, paper. Now, when you're dealing in legal matters, a 4, paperwork with a 4 is deemed legal documentation. For example, the commissioner was showing evidence that he received photographs of police documentation that the person that's supplying it should not have had in his possession at all. And he's named that person. So how does a civilian who is linked allegedly to the minister have police documentation? And apparently, according to the commissioner here, those documentation can only be acquired by someone that is inside and of a particular ranking. These are damning allegations. And of course, when the police are meant to be policing, they're the ones that are actually killing or bribing or taking loans or bribes or whatever, allegedly, according to the evidence, including assassinations, murders of political leaders, particularly in KZN. So here's all his evidence the day before, based on the way he presents himself and demeanor. This guy doesn't take nonsense. He is a cop's cop. So what happens the next day, the Sunday? We have 3 9s out of sequence in the first 2 rows here. There's problems here. And the announcement, of course, creates chaos. So in my opinion, what the commissioner is saying is true. The bad news, and I'm looking at what would be July the 11th. This is bad. Or let's say potentially bad, right? So the announcement happens on the Saturday. So Tuesday would be the intention. Tuesday the 8th. So if we look at it retrospectively in the 369, so what is happening? 8, he's making an announcement. Now, this is linked to Saturday, right? That I'm talking about. So 8, communication, is giving a communication about corruption, bad cops who are familiar to us. We know all of these people. There's even a politician, 5, right? So that's the announcement. Then we get into the +6. We note there's an 11-2, so law's been broken. There's a conflict here. So this is like when you have a 9 + 9 conflict, and I will just say for locals and those that know South African politics, that this conflict here, beg your pardon, pings directly on the ANC as well. In the real, so this is in the action, right? And yeah, in fact, what has actually been shown to me here, and he mentioned the statistics, is showing all the murders and premeditated murders and planned murders numbers here. And that was highlighted in his interview. And because the announcement happens on July the 5th, it impacts Cyril tremendously. Cyril is a life path 3. So the day of the announcement is a 3, which impacts Cyril Ramaphosa, the president, because he appointed this minister into office. And he has evidence. So I'm confirming what the commissioner is saying. That's purely the purpose of this episode. There's organized crime. Here's all his evidence. It has brought around chaos. So when you also have a 9+9 conflict, when you're dealing with high parastatals of society, one can say the presidency, you've got a conflict of ideals happening here. So 9+9, you've got a good cop versus a bad cop. And I almost want to say, and I say allegedly, but it almost feels like, from a justice point of view, that it's about time someone stood up. And in many instances that has happened here are the whistleblowers that get taken out. And in this case, we have a high-ranking national head of policing accusing, one can argue and say, his boss, Minister of Policing, and all affiliates down to the gang members, the hitmen, the corruptors, are all linked, and he's got proof. Now, if you're local and you understand the politics of South Africa, if we zoom out one notch, or one stop, as they say in the film industry, that it's very interesting that the very people that were asked to root out corruption coming out of, and the murders happening in KZN. KZN is a stronghold for you-know-who, the number one. So this has wider implications other than just a minister, allegedly, and all these co-ops in organized crime, including premeditated hits, murder. So what, in my opinion, what it feels like, what is happening here, because I feel there's more significance to this than meets the eye, that we are witnessing a standoff. And he's in the right. There's so much, and it happens in every country, but there's so much corruption going on. There are people being murdered in every country, but it's about time that someone of his caliber stands up and says something about it. Bye for now.